one of the great engineering wonders of the world.
It has allowed for the movement of well over 1 million ships back and forth from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean,
carrying $250 billion worth of cargo.
That was a huge boom for the American economy.
But a little over a century ago, the Panama Canal doesn't exist. The dream to build it is an unrelenting 35-year struggle.
It's a kind of bonkers idea.
This was the biggest real estate transaction in the history of the world.
In a race to engineer the impossible,
failure is not an option.
There's no other project of that scale and magnitude. It was an endeavor like none other.
this is the story of the Panama Canal.
John Frank Stevens was an engineer's engineer.
Come on, let's pick up the pace.
He had built some of the most challenging railroads in North America. This guy lived to build ambitious infrastructure.
It took his wife to convince him that every engineering project he'd ever completed had led him to this one moment, the big project, larger and more consequential than anything he had taken on before.
But a year and a half into his time on the canal, there's still one thing Stevens hasn't been able to conquer.
The jungle itself is what holds the soil together in Panama. And so when they start digging away and exposing it and it gets wet, it no longer has that cohesiveness and becomes basically just like a sticky fluid that's going to flow downhill. And whatever's underneath it is going to get smashed.
Stevens and his workers face nearly 10 mudslides a year, which erase any progress cutting the mountains down to sea level.
It'll never work. The sea level canal will never work. We can't go through the mountain. We'll have to go over it.
Stevens is convinced the only way to succeed is to build a lock canal instead. But in order to put his more expensive plan into action, he'll have to do something more difficult than moving a mountain. Convince the United States government each course.
A lock canal will take 8 years. A sea level 18 if it can be done at all.
Stevens claims that while his new plan will cost over $150 million, it will save $100 million in the long run. A few days later, the lock canal passes, and with Congress setting the deadline for 1914, just 8 years away, Stevens has no room for error.
A lock canal required a lot of more diverse skills. If you think of a sea level canal, it's just excavation and dirt disposal. Building locks required a lot of engineering.
For Stevens's plan, 160 feet of the Culebra Mountains will still need to be excavated, 40 feet less than the French were attempting, and then flooded. 2 sets of locks will be built on the Pacific side, 1 set on the Atlantic side, which can raise and lower ships to 85 feet above sea level. They'll sail between the locks using the largest man-made lake in the world. But creating it will mean building the largest earthen dam in history.
We are here today to witness this engineering marvel. We first walk into an iMAX theater to watch a documentary on Panama Canal and then walk towards Miraflores Visitor Center to witness this marvel with our own eyes. The Panama Canal has a length of approximately 80 kilometers between Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Built in one of the narrowest areas of the continent, the inter-oceanic highway links North America with South America. The canal uses a system of locks, compartments with entrance and exit doors. The locks function as water lifts. They raise the ships from sea level, either Pacific or Atlantic, to the level of Gatun Lake, 26 meters above sea level, Thus, ships navigate through the channel of the canal in the Central Cordillera of Panama. Each set of locks bears the name of the town where it was built: Gatun on the Atlantic side, Pedro Miguel and Miraflores on the Pacific. The chambers or steps of the locks are 33.53 meters wide by 304.8 meters long. The water used to raise and lower the vessels in each set of locks is obtained from Gatun Lake by gravity. It is discharged into the locks through a main sewer system which extends below the lock chambers from the lateral walls and the central wall. The Culebra Cut is the narrowest part of the canal. It extends from the northern end of the Pedro Miguel locks to the southern end of Gatun Lake in Gamboa. This segment, approximately 13.7 kilometers long, was excavated through rock and limestone from the Cordillera Central. Ships from all over the world transit through the Panama Canal daily. Between 13,000 and 14,000 ships use the canal each year. In fact, Panama Canal proudly serves more than 180 maritime routes, connecting 1,920 ports across 170 countries. With the work of approximately 9,000 workers, the canal operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, offering transit service to ships from all nations without any discrimination.
Flores Locks, Panama Canal, 1913. Esto nos indica que esta estructura fue culminada en el año de 1913, pero fecha inaugural del canal 15 de agosto de 1914. A la distancia frente a nosotros, muy a lo lejos, vemos una enorme embarcación utilizando el carril de aproximación de la parte ampliada del canal. Esa embarcación no pasará por aquí. Embarcación demasiado grande con una capacidad. Dear visitors, be welcome to the Panama Canal. Be welcome to the historical section. Right in front of us, we have the original canal. You can observe the control house in the middle of the complex. You can read Miraflores Locks, Panama Canal, 1913. This complex completed in 1913. The official inauguration of the Panama Canal, August 15, 1914. And since the beginning of operation, 111 years. And more than 1.2 million ships went through the Panama Canal. If you observe in front of us from the distance, that a ship is too big to cross or move through this section of the Panama Canal. That's why it's using approach and channel. That is a Neo-Panamax vessel with very close to 16,000 TEUs or 20-foot equivalent unit capacity. Esa embarcación a lo lejos, con 16.000 contenedores, vino de la costa este de los Estados Unidos, estuvo pasando por Charleston, Estados Unidos, y va en dirección hacia Busan, Corea del Sur. Esta embarcación está utilizando el canal de Panamá debido a que se está ahorrando bastante distancia, bastante combustible. Embarcación que se está ahorrando aproximadamente 14.000 kilómetros. A una de las esclusas del canal, la única esclusa ubicada en la zona pacífica del canal, conocida como Cocolí. Así que en los próximos minutos esa embarcación entrará a la cámara de la esclusa de Cocolí, donde iniciaremos su proceso de descenso. Embarcaciones que estarán pasando por esta sección del canal, la parte histórica. Si observamos a nuestra mano derecha a la distancia, muy a lo lejos cruzando el lago Miraflores, tenemos la primera embarcación que está en los próximos minutos ingresando a la cámara de la esclusa de Pedro Miguel. En los próximos minutos vamos a descender hacia heading to the Panama Canal expansion chambers. If you observe way behind the control house, Miraflores control house, way behind we have a white building complex with a light blue roof. That's the only set of locks belong to the expansion located on the Pacific side. It's heading to Cocolí Locks. This vessel is coming from Charleston, the east coast of the U.S., and it's moving to Busan, South Korea. They're using the Panama Canal because they're saving time and fuel and between 3 to 5 weeks of journey. If you observe crossing the lake to your right-hand side, the Lake Miraflores, on the other side of the lake, we have the very first ship going down. and
shoulders. Thanks for cooperating.
Agradecemos a todos los visitantes cuidar de las instalaciones. Por esta razón solicitamos amablemente atender las siguientes instrucciones. Está prohibido subirse sobre las bancas y las mesas. No se permite escalar. Por seguridad les agradecemos mantener las escaleras de acceso al mirador despejadas. Les agradecemos no colocar a los niños sobre sus hombros. Muchas gracias.
right in front of us, heading to the expansion, has 51 meters of beam or width. The maximum size capacity using this part of the Panama Canal, the historical section, our vessel with no more than 32 meters or 106 feet. That's why that vessel in front of us, MSC ties, exceed in about 20 meters. We're very close to here when the ships are passing through the locks. We use a famous use of the locomotive to assist or help the ships when they're passing through these sections.